right, Sithtalkers. So before we get to the new topic, we need to hear from one of our new sponsors. You need to go into town to get away from your uncle and aunt. Want your speeder to be the best in the galaxy? Want your starship to go to distance? For only $19.95 credits, pick up your Power Converters! The best power converters on Tatooine, guaranteed. Built straight out of Watto's shop. Don't believe me? See what the locals have to say. I stand by the Power Converters out of my shop. You tell them, brother, we are guaranteed to be the best Power Converters on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Rhyme.
Yeah. Power maneuver.
Yes, so brother, tell them about the Power Converters. Yes.
We have the best power hybrid.
Yes.
What does it again?
Brother!
Yes.
It's the Power Converters.
Yes.
Remember, we worked on them for months.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Tell them about them, brother.
These are the best power monopolies in the whole galaxy. Bar none.
If you buy right now, we will send 2 more at no additional charge. That's right. 3 power converters for the price of 1. Hey. Yeah, hey. I did not agree to 3 for 1. So don't be left in the dust. Come to us, Watto and Brothers Shop, and pick up the best power converters in the galaxy. Hey, you get. Come to Watto's shop and buy the power converters. Yes. No 3 for brother. Tell them about our special.
Yes. You get 4 for the same price as 1. Yeah.
No, brother.
Yeah.
This ad was approved by Eric. Republic credits are no good at Watto and Brothers Shop. But I was going into Watto's shop to pick up some power converters. All right, Sithtalkers, so on to the main topic. Topic number 2 today. Does Ahsoka Tano retcon the sequel trilogy? I love it. Oh, boy.
Yes.
I really like this.
All right, that's it. That's quick.
So obviously, this has kind of been all over the internet this past week. Okay, so let me kind of explain myself.
Oh my god,
Steve.
Yeah.
How Ahsoka Tano will retcon the sequel
I
trilogy.
feel like I could explain it better.
Well, hold on. So, it comes down to Ahsoka living or Ahsoka dying.
Oh wow.
Okay, so hear me out. Because you didn't watch Star Wars Rebels, this is why I have to explain this. In Star Wars Rebels, she is fighting Darth Vader. Ezra Bridger, is in the world between worlds. And it looks like Ahsoka is losing to Vader, and she's gonna die. Ezra pulls her out and into the world between worlds and saves her life. Okay, so hear me out. What? Really? So there's 2 timelines. So the point is that there is 2 timelines in Star Wars. There's a timeline where Ahsoka dies, and there's a timeline where Ahsoka lives. The timeline of the sequel trilogy, as we know, Ahsoka is dead. We hear her voice at the end of the movie as one of the Force spirits, talking to Rey. Okay?
Which is 30 years after.
Okay. So still follow me here. So now we're gonna kind of move to the Mandalorian.
I just want to, before we follow, I just want to make sure we aren't. It's 30 plus years after.
Well, Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Oh, and the Mandalorian.
Yes.
Oh, but the Rebels thing happened.
I'm just saying, it's 30. We're saying in 30 years. That's all. I just want to make sure.
Hear me out.
Okay.
So So then the Mandalorian, so now since she survived, she shows up in the Mandalorian, puts the Mandalorian on the right path to get Grogu to I can't remember the location where the Seeing Stone is, and reaches out and calls Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker, we know, comes, finds, gets Grogu, and becomes Luke Skywalker's apprentice, or he starts training him in the Force. This is what we know in canon of the sequel trilogy. Ben was Luke's very first apprentice. 10 years. So I think he was 10?
He was 10 years.
10 years old when he started training Ben.
The year where Grogu is, Ben would be around like 4.
Okay? So I guess that's what we're saying. We're saying if Ahsoka lived, she actually threw a wrench in the timeline and started an alternate timeline. This is going to retcon Luke Skywalker. It could also retcon Ben Solo. Ben Solo may never turn to Kylo Ren because Luke started training Grogu and then trained Ben.
I think you're...
But it retcons the sequel. It's just an alternate timeline.
Oh yeah, I think the one piece you're missing from that part is that if Grogu gets rescued, then they don't have enough DNA to finish Snoke. And if Snoke isn't full, Snoke can't tempt Ben to the dark side, which is also what keeps that.
And the Emperor can't come back. Exactly. That's there. Thank you. Okay, so that there's a little bit more of the puzzle. So yeah. So that I don't want to say retcon. We just have a different timeline because in canon, Ezra pulls Ahsoka out and saves her. But if she died, she would be dead, and she wouldn't help Grogu. No, think about it.
If she died, she would be dead. Quote that. Write that down. If
you know what I'm saying?
Died, she would be dead.
If Ahsoka is dead, she can't help the Mandalorian send Grogu to the Jedi Seeing Stone. And which would mean the Empire would capture Grogu, would keep him, and the Emperor would be successfully reincarnated. And Snoke would be successfully made because of Grogu's blood and experiments and Sith magic. But since Ahsoka was saved, she started an alternate timeline. I know it's like Back to the Future, right? He's got the sports almanac and he goes back and it's like a different timeline. Same thing. Ahsoka is there, so she changes everything because Grogu didn't get captured by the Empire, so the Empire can't successfully succeed on Exegol.
So all that sounds really good. You're doing that thing where you're just like finding logic in the way you want to find logic to build this case. Because here's my counter argument. Now, I want to start this off as saying, I hope that this theory is correct. I would love for this theory to be correct. I think this would fix Star Wars.
You fix Luke Skywalker.
Yes, I would totally agree with it. My playing devil's advocate is, so what you guys are saying is there's no world where all of this stuff can still happen with Grogu. They can eventually fail. Ahsoka can still die in the midst of now and 30 years. And then the Mando can lose. Luke can fail Grogu just as he failed fucking Ben. Write it off as it never happened. So that way there's just so many other ways you can explain out the things that you're also explaining in, I guess, is what I'm getting at, right?
But why wouldn't Luke train Grogu? Why would he's the only Jedi left? He's the only one to help him.
Okay, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he sits there and says, you're not ready to be trained. Or there's a 5,000 reasons you can come up with, and then canon still states fact that his first apprentice, and you got real quick too. Remember the Jedi, remember Star Wars episode 1 and 2 and stuff where you saw all the younglings being trained by one person? Remember that? They're being trained by one person. They weren't an apprentice to that one person. They're being trained. Canon states that Ben is his first apprentice. That doesn't necessarily mean he hasn't trained other Jedis.
Yeah, I think he's rebuilding the.
That's my point. Is so he has the ability to train other Jedis without them being an apprentice. So just because he's training Grogu now doesn't make Grogu his apprentice. It just means he's training him. He didn't bring him on as his apprentice, as that mentorship. It didn't happen. So that can explain away that really quickly, right? And then fast forward, we can have a storyline where Grogu does get captured by the Emperor, period. Thrawn comes in, captures him, right? Finishes the experiment for Snoke, and then that's how Ahsoka dies. Something happens with there, Ahsoka dies. Vader comes back and kills Ahsoka. Within this 30, or not Vader, I guess, fucking somebody else. Shit, I don't know. Snoke kills her. My point is she has 30 more years to die before we get to the point of her voice coming up to Rey.
That's all I'm saying. Changes things. That means Leia would have not have stopped her Jedi training with Luke, and her and Luke would be in charge. They'd be like the Grand Masters of the new Jedi Order. How amazing would that be?
So my only problem is right now is if Luke in The Mandalorian, Ahsoka clearly knows about Luke.
Clearly.
Why aren't they like teaming up or something?
Well, she's going after Thrawn. Well, we'll find out, right? She's getting her own show. She's going to be going after Thrawn.
Right. So, but if Thrawn is like a threat to the galaxy, then why isn't Luke?
She get Luke, yeah.
I guess my own. I guess we'll see. We'll get those answers.
We'll see.
Weird. You know?
I thought, like I said, this was kind of all over the place this week. Was this Ahsoka Tano alternate timeline retconning the sequel trilogy, and it makes sense.
But it's gonna make sense because Star Wars fans want it to make sense. Like that's
because we want Luke Skywalker to be fixed.
He's fixed.
Like,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
All Disney, like if Disney doesn't fuck with Luke Skywalker, dude, we're not doing this right now. Seriously. Come on. Like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, this is what I understand. Like, I get it, Rian Johnson. Everybody had to get through the most difficult thing. No. Like, you really fucked with us fans. Like, why do you think we're clamoring going, oh, well, if Ahsoka's alive, then Grogu's now with Luke, so now Ben can't be...
All right.
Maybe he's going to learn from Grogu and not fail Ben. So that's what we're thinking. We're thinking he's going to learn from Grogu and not fail Ben now.
Let's be fair, though. We always do Rian Johnson. All 3 movies were garbage, all right? Oh, I don't care. Even as good as, look, the only reason why Force Awakens was semi-good was because it was so long since we've seen a Star Wars movie, and we held on to that for nostalgia purposes, and we saw Han. That's it. Take that bullshit away from the movie. The movie's not fucking good because the other 2 movies ruin it. Like, it is what it is. So I've actually hired a new rep at my store where I work. He's just as big of a Star Wars fan as you are. Huge Star Wars nerd. Hates these new 3 movies with a passion, but he hates them for all like your reasons that you don't like to say. It's Luke. The Luke thing. I can make fun of him the same way I can make fun of you. The Luke thing killed him. But like, stop shitting on Rian Johnson. It's not just fucking his fault why his movies suck. J.J. Abrams came back and then polished up a big pile of donkey shit for the last one and said, I have a way of fixing it. I'm going to bring back the Emperor. That's going to reel everybody back in. Woo! And now, John Favreau is doing his best job ever, and I think a phenomenal job fixing this shit. Can we just hire John Favreau to do all of Star Wars? That's it. Can he just be like the godfather or the overseer of Star Wars? Every movie, he needs to be like there.
Yeah.
Seriously.
We have said this 100 times since The Mandalorian has come out. I mean, John Favreau and Dave Filoni should be in charge, overseeing every Star Wars project that is made. All right, Sithtalkers. So, there you go. What do you think? What do you think about, this whole, does Ahsoka Tano change the timeline? Living or die? Or is it, right? Or no, this is how everything is supposed to go. And more shit goes down, after The Mandalorian.
I still say, can we do a little bit of like piggybacking off this topic?
Yeah, good.
Okay. So